Happy election season and happy rut, everyone. This is episode 167 of the Mediocre Alaskan Podcast. I want to do a couple comments on the election, then I'll get going to the real stuff, the stuff that you're here for, the rut. I think this election has shown, and it should, as a result, when we look back and we reflect on this and we analyze this, that there are not 73 million communists in this country. There are not 69 million racists in this country. If we were to take some time and analyze and look at the nuance and stop oversimplifying the other side, we will find that there's a lot of different people that voted for who they voted for a lot of different reasons. And being the left or right version of the left and right stereotype that you hate is drinking from the same well, right? It's the same thing. And to say, well, they started it is third grade. So that's all I have to say about the election there. We can choose to get through this together, or we can choose to be divisive, and we can choose to try to show off to our side rather than actually listen and try to recruit people to our side, or at least to get them to understand where we're coming from and get along. So there that is. That's the election from my eyes there. Moving on to rut, and it's such an awesome time of the year. I love alpine deer hunting. It's warm. You get up there, those solo hunts, and everything is green and lush, and those the hides of the deer just look so bright and they stick out, and it's so much fun to make those stalks and you have those long days. But rut is certainly fun in itself too. I'm certainly not an expert, as you'd guess by the name of this podcast, but I have figured some things out that have been successful, and this is just opinion. This is just kind of what I run and what I'm confident when I run during rut. People swear by different things. People swear by grunting. People swear by calling. People swear by a bleat versus everyone has what works for them, and that is important to have something that you're going to run with confidence. Having a program that you are excited about that's going to keep you out there. That's really important. So when it comes to hunting the rut, what I've had success so far this year, this last weekend, it was pretty rainy, but I didn't call a whole lot. I focused mostly on transition areas between the timber and the muskegs, and I didn't really reveal myself much out in the muskegs. And I worked mostly being slow and being quiet. Some of the areas that you're going to hunt, a lot of people are going to be calling. And I'm just not totally sure that it's like a magic wand. They don't have to come to the call. Or if you go to a muskeg and you call and you wait and you call again and you wait and then you leave, that doesn't mean that there's not a deer there. That just means that nothing came to it. So this last weekend I saw 4 bucks. None of them were out in a muskeg. All of them were in that fringe transition area. So moving slowly as possible. And I'm not really a patient person. I've grown to be more patient while hunting, and especially during bow hunting. I think there's like a little bit of a switch for me. When I'm hunting with a rifle, I kind of just move and make a lot more noise. But when I'm bow hunting, I'm a lot more patient, a lot more quiet. And just moving slow and just making sure that you see everything there and you have your binos ready, and so you can look through things and looking at those transition areas and finding that trail that goes around. It's usually 15 to 20 yards back from the open muskeg, and just kind of working around in that if possible, and looking for those bedded deer or something that happens to be moving, and just being slow. Being quiet, focus on a good stalk rather than just, making your way through loudly to a muskeg and they're just assuming that deer is going to come into your call. I think that quietness, and I did not, while I was successful in being within range of those bucks, I did not kill any of those bucks because I'm still in the extreme novice or neophyte level when it comes to bow hunting. And the first one, it was I saw the deer, and it was in one of those transition areas about 15 yards back from the actual clearing of the muskeg. I was walking through the edge, and I saw it in a little draw, and I had a clear shot, but I couldn't tell what it was. And then it stepped behind this tree, and then it stepped again, and it was totally open. But because it had been walking, I was a little bit worried that it was going to take off, so I didn't take the time to range it, which is a mistake when you're bow hunting, man. You gotta range it. You gotta take the time. It's better to range it and not get a shot than it is to take a bad shot without ranging it. So I didn't range it. I just kind of eyeballed it, and then the second mistake I made was not holding my follow through. You have and this happens with rifles too, where you're so excited to see where it hits, or if it hit, or if the deer went down, or how it went down, just to watch it go down. You drop the barrel of the rifle, or you don't hold the bow up. You drop the bow, and so at that last split second, it changes the trajectory of the arrow or the bullet. And so I dropped, and I was looking to see where it hit, and I had guessed 30, or I'd guessed 30 yards, and it was more like 45. And so I was going to be shooting low as it was, and because I dropped my bow, I shot super low. And so when the thing just took off, pranced, untouched, unscathed, and I found the arrow, and it was 95% embedded in the ground, not even close to where the deer was. So it was a clean miss, which was good. But from that point, I thought, hey, dude, you've got to range it. You cannot forget to range it, or be in such a rush to not range it. So
after years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
Saw another deer in a bed. I was making my way through. Again, this time I was actually in the muskeg, and I was walking through the muskeg, and gosh dang it if the thing was not in the transition area. Had I not gone into the muskeg, I would have had a great shot of it while it was still bedded. But I chose to poke on out and get in the muskeg, and I had my Onyx running, and if I would just taken a little bit of a look, I would have seen, what the terrain was, and you could see those transitions on your Onyx. So there were a couple bushes between me and or some brush between me and the deer, and so I kind of ducked out of sight as I was trying to make a move, and close the distance. By the time I kind of peeked back around, it was at 60 yards. And then by the time I got into closing range, it was totally gone. So it took off there. I didn't have a shot right off the bat. But again, if I wouldn't have just walked right through the stinking middle of the muskeg, then I would have been closer to it, walked the edge, and I would have had probably a good shot. And then next day it was rainy and windy, and one of the things that I really picked up in the mule deer hunt in Wyoming is to just do what it takes, and run the stinking program. And in Southeast Alaska, when you're hunting in rut, part of the stinking program is that it's going to be miserable weather. It's going to be cold. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be something. And so I was at this spot, and there were some people that were where I wanted to be, and so I spent the morning kind of hunting an area that I didn't really want to hunt, um, just to kind of let them hunt what they wanted to hunt. And then when I poked back out and I saw that they were gone, I went to hunt where I wanted to hunt, and just slow and quiet, didn't use the call at all. And this is around noon. Some of those people, they'll go out for noon, but it's rainy and windy and they have enough, and so they go back and they go eat burgers, which is me sometimes. I'm totally that guy who just goes out there for the morning. He's like, yeah, nothing's going to happen. But during rut, man, it pays to stay out. So it was rainy, it was windy, it was cold, I was wet, but I went back in there, and in a nice transition area, saw a nice buck, came out. First thing I did was I ranged it, which was great, 42 yards, took a breath. I wasn't totally square to it, so I was kind of shooting across my body. I didn't want to make any sudden movements because the thing was just clocking me. It stepped a couple steps toward me and kind of turned broadside. It was kind of quartering, but there was definitely a great lane. And 40, I've been practicing, and man, 40 is money. So I drew back, and I still had my hood on, and so my anchor point felt a little bit different in my jaw. And I know these are not excuses. These are reasons. These are errors that I made. And these are just things that I have to fix. So I fixed the ranging thing. So I knew exactly how far it was. So I knew which pin to use. But I have got to, until I get better, or at least practice this, I have got to make sure that everything is off my jaw so that I can get that right anchor point, so I know that that is secure, that's good to go. Because I was off of my anchor point, and then I stinking dropped again. So I dropped to look at it, and it didn't have the right anchor point, so I missed in front of it, found the arrow, nothing on it, thing took off. So missed twice, but I know what I did, and it's just a matter of it's not like a lesson to learn, because I know what to do. So it's not a lesson. A lesson is something like new, right? I know what to do. I know what I have to do. You got to stink and range it. Go quietly and slowly, and when you find it, you stink and range it, and then you whatever you need to do. And in my case, I got to make sure that I have nothing on my jaw so I can get a good anchor point, because I haven't practiced with anything else there. So finding that anchor point with fabric between my hand and the jawbone. So find that anchor point, make sure I'm all good to go, and then keep the bow up, follow through, watch it hit with the bow up, and then I make that happen. So I lucked out on those two that I didn't make a bad shot, because with a bow, the last thing you want to do is be chasing something that there's a bad shot on, or wound an animal. So if you're going to miss, it was great. I was happy that I missed the way that I did, but I was upset that I did miss, but I know what to do to change. So hunting rut, if I was hunting rut with a rifle, it would have been over. That's just a simple, quick, easy shot. So I would say that if there's just one tip when it comes to hunting rut that I've found that works for me, is just being slow and quiet, and just focusing on those transition areas, and not just hoping that there's something walking around in the muskeg, or counting on a call to bring something out of the muskeg. You might go to a muskeg and there might be nothing there, and you call and you wait. And if there's a lot of muskeg and you want to cover ground, absolutely. I know people who do that. But if you want to be patient and you want to make sure there's no buck there, then you're moving and you're covering ground, but at a much slower, more diligent pace, to make sure that there's nothing there that you're just running after, right? I know some people who've been over, and they were kind of in the same area that I was, and said, "Oh, there's no deer, didn't even see a doe." And I'm seeing deer and I'm seeing bucks, and I'm nothing special. So I would encourage the utilization of being slow, being quiet, and just kind of double checking. If you want to get 15 muskegs out and just hope something's out there, if you want to cover ground like that, then absolutely do that. If that works for you, then do it. And that's the biggest thing here. I said at the beginning that run a program that works for you, that you're confident in, because if you're confident in the program, you're going to run it better. So Take the advice if you want, man. I'm pretty new to the whole hunting thing still, 7 years in, but that's what's happened to work for me. So if you are even more of a beginner than I am, then maybe that's something you can remember. So call that episode 167. Make sure you check out themediocrealaskan.com. Check out Tongass Talk. Abby and I were on Tongass Talk yesterday, and the podcast was published today, so check that out. And there you go. Talk to you next time.